What's going on, everyone? My name is Twig, and today we're going to be talking about Deep Rock Galactic Survivors, the newly released action roguelike survivor-like game from Fun Day Games. I believe it was released by the time you're watching this video exactly 1 week ago or so. It's been about 2 weeks since my last upload because I've been working on multiple games at once, but you can expect a few reviews coming in succession very soon. Deep Rock Survivors is currently in early access with a total of 19 achievements, which we'll talk more about in a little bit, and the current price is $9.99. So with that said, I just want to say if you're new here, starting this year, I'm trying to do reviews on games after I 100% them to help me stand out a little bit amongst other reviewers. I've been writing Steam reviews since last year, but wanted to try to start making YouTube videos in 2024 to document my experience with new and older games. So thank you for watching, and let's talk a little bit about this new title. Just like in Deep Rock Galactic, you play as a dwarf character who is sent to mine materials and fend off waves of enemies. At the beginning, you only have access to one class, but as you complete challenges, you are able to unlock up to 4 classes concurrently: Scout, Gunner, Driller, and Engineer, and each one of these has their own kind of buff stats with unique starting weapons. In the current early access state, there are currently 40 different weapons, 20 enemy types, 3 biomes, which are basically maps, and a pretty deep progression system of class mods, artifacts that you can obtain via supply drops during each mission, and a ton of upgrades. When you first start, there's going to be one map available to choose from, and it's honestly my personal favorite. The past 2 survivor-like games that I've played, the first map has been the most enjoyable to me, and I don't really know what's up with that. I think it's just because I've grinded the first map so much for one achievement in both games, but we'll discuss that here in a second. You unlock other maps by increasing your overall level, and you can increase your overall level by completing the goals in each biome. All 3 of the maps were unique, with Crystalline Caverns being my favorite, then Magma Core, and then Hollow Bow. You start off a run by picking your biome, character, and specialization. Then you are dropped down and given the choice to either mine for resources, run around and kill enemies, or track down requested materials all over the map, or you can do all 3 of those things in the time given. The bar at the top is basically the stage timer that shows when hordes are coming after you, when you can do another secondary objective to earn a supply drop, which in turn gives you a buff, and when the boss or elite is spawning is usually on the far right. The bar on the left helps you keep up with what stage you're on. After starting my initial runs and barely coming up short on defeating the final boss of each biome, I finally realized that leveling up your weapons to 12 gives you the ability to overclock them on subsequent runs, which is actually gives you a pretty big buff to your weapons. After figuring that out, I was able to fine-tune builds to beat stage after stage. Another thing I focused on as I played were the milestones, which are tied to the achievements, but they also give special rewards that can be used to your advantage in the game. For example, as you level up in a run and focus on just increasing your HP, once you obtain 300 max HP, you unlock the chance that a BLT ration pack is dropped in the supply crate, which is a pretty big boost to your health, so it's always a good idea to keep shooting for those milestones as you play. Like I said before, 40 unique weapons in early access feels like a lot. My main goal was to level them up to 12 ASAP so that I could have 4 overclock weapons on my character during a run. As you level up your character during each run, once you get to levels 5, 15, and 25, you get to pick between 3 guns to equip. I still didn't unlock every weapon with all the time I put into the game, but I definitely found a few that I gravitated towards each run. Also, keep in mind, as you level your character class, you unlock the ability to choose a different specialization, which drastically changes how the character is played because of the starting stats and the starting weapon that you're given. Overall, my favorite weapon is probably the Plasma Carbine. I was really impressed with the amount of variation between all the weapons in the game. If you're wondering about how long this game will take to 100%, it took me roughly around 25 hours or so. But I will say I unlocked every achievement except for one in the first 10 hours I spent playing the game. You can check achievement progress by clicking the milestones tab in the menu and then going over to artifacts, and that is where most of the achievements for this game are. The one achievement that hung me up was the big spender one, where you have to spend 20k gold in the in-game store during runs. So after each stage in a run, you're given this buy menu where you can spend gold or nitra that you mine during each stage, and you spend that currency on weapons or character stat upgrades. By the time I attained all other achievements, I would only spend around 4.5k of the 20k needed, which absolutely blew my mind. I've talked to some people on the Steam discussion board about like what they thought, and we think that they must have put this in the game for people to progress towards and take their time playing the game to achieve, whereas I focused on directly the achievements from the get-go, so I basically ran through the game, and at the end I had to do a ton of grinding. So most of the achievements are kind of like build focused or challenge focused on things like take 2,000 damage during a run, collect 200 nitra, dodge 100 times during a run, stuff like that, which requires you to focus on one or two stats as you level. As far as grinding the gold to spend in the shop, I ran the scout class, which is like the first one you get, but I leveled him up and tried to max out my mining stat, and I just went to town mining gold everywhere I could. You can mine the little snail guys because they give a little bit of gold, and it's also super rare, but you can find a gold snail which gives a big amount of gold as well. I didn't get them on camera, but I thought it was kind of cool. Let me see what else. You can do the side objectives to get more gold. You can get the supply drop artifact that gives you a percentage chance to drop gold as you mine just regular rock, which is pretty helpful. And I just kept doing the crystalline caverns biome on the lowest difficulty over and over while watching YouTube videos. I've been getting into Toy Federation videos a lot lately on figures and stuff, and just trying to get this last achievement. I should have been done with this game a while ago, but I was struggling a little with the motivation to do just run after run just to spin the gold in the shop. But now that it's done, I expect them to probably add more achievements in the future as the game goes throughout its early access life cycle, and as well as into full release, so we'll see. This game is labeled as playable on the Steam Deck, and throughout my time of playing it on the Steam Deck, I thought the game ran good, and the in-game menu size wasn't a problem, but as the game is further developed, I bet that it's given a verified status, because the devs put out a thread saying that they have gone over the game with a magnifying glass, but there are a few places where text is slightly smaller than it should be, but all other requirements for verified status are fulfilled, such as the game showing Steam Deck controller icons. All the functionality is accessible when using the default controller configuration, and all the game's default graphics configurations perform well, which is great because this game fits the Steam Deck so well. For the price of $9.99, I'd definitely say give this game a try, especially if you like the survivor-like genre. Funday Games has an extensive roadmap for upcoming additions to the game, and I had a really good experience with the game in its current state. I'll be putting my Steam review up as soon as this video goes live, so feel free to add me on there, and comment down below games that you recommend me to try to 100%. I've had a few people reach out already, which is super cool. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you sticking around. I'm planning another puzzle game review, as well as my Helldivers 2 review as soon as I clean up the last few achievements remaining. Exciting stuff coming. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.